Let's talk about dates now. WKInterfaceDate. So WKInterfaceDate is a way for you to display the current date or time in your watch app. If you think about it, the Apple Watch is a watch. Its primarily function is to display time. So this is a great control that lets you display time. One thing to note is that you can't set the text directly yourself in code, but you can customize the way it looks and the format of it. So let's get into that. So in the object library, go ahead and search for date and drag a date control onto your app. So over on the right, in the attributes inspector, you've got different options under date. So one of these is the format. So if you go with standard, it lets you choose between the date and time, certain date and time options. For example, you can turn off the date. So if you look over here, the date's gone. Short version of the date, medium. Okay, so we've got month, day, year. Long, the month is long. And then full, which includes the day of the week. We'll get into, if you wanted to show more lines so that you can see the full text, you can just bump this number up here under label. That's a label property. So the same options exist for time. You can turn the time off, short, medium. Let's increase the lines again. So medium includes the seconds, long includes the time zone, and full includes time zone spelled out. So let's go ahead and just leave it at short. And then you've also got a preview. The preview is where you can mess with the actual preview values that are shown in the storyboard. If you change those, for example, let's do 7/17. Let's do this. Let's go to September 17th, 2014. It doesn't have an effect on runtime. So if we go ahead and run, it doesn't have an effect on the control. As you can see, it shows today's current date and time, July 24th. Okay. So this preview just affects the story forward from what I can tell. All right, now let's get into the custom options. So you can come down here and do custom. With custom, you specify the format that Coco's date formatting would expect. So for example, you can remove whether it's AM or PM. You could switch around the date and the month, right? So the order is different. And anything that conforms to Coco's date data formatting guide. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and drag this as an outlet onto one of our controllers here, our main controller. These we can get rid of, and these we can get rid of. We no longer are dealing with that. So let's go ahead and drag it on. So control click, drag it to your controller, give it a name, date control. Okay, so date control, if you go into one of your methods, date control, and start looking here, there's three main methods on this that are specific to this control. Text color, okay, you can set the text color, set time zone. All right, so the time zone you can use if you want to set this control's time zone to be different from the user's current time zone. One of the examples that I've heard around is if you wanted to do like a world clock. If you if you come in here, you can set the time zone to be, say London, if you're displaying London as one of the time zones in your world clock. Also, you have options for setting calendar. Okay, so if you want to use a calendar that's different than the user's current calendar, then the date control will reflect that calendar. So for example, if you wanted to break your app's calendar into fiscal quarters rather than months, then you would use this calendar option. So that's it for date control, WKInterfaceDate. And let's move on to the next control.